All right, sir. I definitely appreciate the time.
For sure, for sure. Likewise, brother.
Yeah, I think last time I talked to you was for the verses, and we were virtual.
Why even do this versus with Gucci? And I'm wondering, like, is there any benefit to it?
It is about the music to some extent. And for me, like, you know, it's real life. Like that's a part of that time period. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think you had an album coming out too. So
Yeah.
it's good to finally meet you in person, man.
That part.
Obviously, I'm talking to a rap icon, and when I think about, Thug Motivation 101, I can remember where I was, what I was doing, the parties I was at. Like, what was that time like for you?
Ah, man, chaotic. You know, it was so many moving parts, and I was so focused on getting the project out because I just had this feeling that if I could just get it out, that it would be life-changing for me. So there was a lot of things that I was up against at that time, and you know, I must say, like, personally, that was probably the most adversity I have ever faced. So while everybody was partying, listening to the music, I was just dealing with everything that was going on in the kitchen, like literally, like trying to make sure that, you know, the album was getting mixed and mastered, but at the same time, I tore my vocal cords because I had polyps on my vocal cords and didn't know it. And then around the same time, I was hit with Bell's palsy. And around the same time, the album got leaked. Around the same time, I was in limbo with the record label because now I got this album that is warming up in the streets because of a bootleg, but I don't know if I'm gonna be able to ever talk again. Now I don't got health insurance, so now I'm paying for my surgery with cash, and now I'm getting this surgery and I'm hoping that my voice isn't too clean or worse than it was. So it's just a bunch of uncertainty. But you know, they say before any great rise, there's a fall, there's a dip. So I was just blessed that I was able to navigate through it gracefully and, you know, just keep my integrity because it was like, you know, I mean, you got to think about it. Just like if you sought out to do music and it works, you know, good for you. But if you're doing something to change your life and you know that, you know, the only other avenues of prison or death, you just like, this got to work. And for me, it's just like, it didn't look like it was going to work the way I needed it to work. But that's another testament to show you that, you know, God's walking right beside you at all times because I couldn't see it happening.
I mean, how are you able to navigate the fame? Because, you know, I mean, it hit like a hurricane. When I forgot what Jay-Z's song references, but he talked about you and the crew and how you guys were moving up, you know, just like that. So how were you able to balance like everything that was going on with like one foot in the rap game, but still another foot in the streets too?
I mean, I don't think I processed the fame thing until around my third album, which was The Recession. I think everything else was like just survival. You know what I'm saying? And I was going through it, but it wasn't enough because it wasn't like I was set. Like meaning like, cause you know, your first album, you got your whole life to write your first album. But you don't know if you're gonna be around in 20 years. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like playing your first season. You know, you hope to do your best, but you don't know if that means you're gonna be able to continue this and sustain this level of success. So it was a lot of survivor's remorse, not being that I shouldn't be there. Well, let me not say survivor's remorse, it's more like, it would almost be like you would feel like, okay, I'm here now, but am I really a part of this? You know, am I a part of this? Like, am I a part of culture, of hip hop? Because I came in at such a street level that, you know, all the guys that came in for street, they like last a summer and then they gone. But then you got the bigger artists that come and every summer they killing them and you just like, damn. So it was like it was like, you know, just that, you know, just imposter syndrome at first, you know what I'm saying? If I'm honest, because it was almost like, I'm in now, so what do I do? You know what I'm saying? Like, can I write better songs? Do I write bigger songs? Like, I'm not as much in the street, because you said it, I was halfway in, halfway out now. You know what I mean? So that means that I'm half of what I used to be when it came to what I knew. So, you know, the streets change fast. So it's just like, but it's also a safe haven too, because it was like, okay, well, if it doesn't work, maybe I can go back. You know what I'm saying? Because you're halfway, and then just one day I just like, I gotta just take the island and burn the boats. I remember I threw my Nextel, because it was Nextel chirps back then. I had two Nextel chirps. And a lot of people owed me a lot of money. And I just threw them away. I was just like, I gotta just do it. And I remember I used to see them after the fact. They'd be like, yo, what's up? But I could tell the nervousness because they know they owe me. And I'm like, no, you have it. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying something different. So it took a lot. It took a lot of discipline, you know, because all my friends were, you know, summertime, everybody getting new Ferraris and upgrading their cars and their chains. And I was kind of riding around in the same cars I had for like 2-3 years and wearing the same jewelry because it was almost like I didn't want to buy nothing else because I didn't know what would happen, but I was putting all my money in my music. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
When you talk about the music, man, like, people quote your lyrics like it's religion.
Yeah.
You know, I can spit a lot of your verses right now, word for word. Like, what's your relationship, I guess, to, not just even to the music, but to fans?
I mean, because I don't look at them as fans. I look at them as, like, people. I look at them as, like, a congregation. I look at them as people who identify and see life the way I see it. They know they're up against all these odds and they have to continue to motivate themselves and the people around them because they know ain't nobody coming to save them. You know what I'm saying? It's like you can go to church, but you know, if you go to church and the preacher preaches a good sermon, you can either take heed or you can leave and go do whatever you was doing before and live the same life. But it was like these people identify with me like I identify with them. We can relate to each other. And I think the reason why the music and the words resonated so well because they came from a real place. I wasn't trying to entertain. I was trying to reach. I was trying to connect. You know what I'm saying? I was trying to build, you know, just this understanding that I see you, I know what you're going through, and you've elected me to be your spokesperson, so I'm gonna make sure I speak for us the best way that I can. At the same time, navigate all this chaos I got going on. Because it ain't about me, you know. It's like I'm playing two games. I gotta survive, but I gotta speak for the people. And that's, you know, early on, I just was like, oh, I'm taking the position of the people's champ. Because it wasn't me, it was them. You know what I'm saying? They elected me. I didn't jump in this, and I was just so cold that ain't nobody have a choice. They're like, no, that's our guy. And I knew that, and I knew that wholeheartedly. So a lot of the decisions I had to make had the people in mind. Even when I was like wilding out, drinking and party, and I just came to a point where I was like, okay, I got to practice some discipline, you know, because people see me out and I'm on one, and I'm like, nah, that ain't it, you know, because you don't want to see, you know, you don't want to see the governor or your pastor, you know what I'm saying, out wilding, you know, you want to be a pastor, and nobody's perfect, but I took it that seriously because I was like, yo, I can't drop the ball, I can't mess this up, you know what I'm saying, because this is real. My life was changing right before my eyes, you know what I'm saying, so it was like, either you're gonna be disciplined enough to change some things or you're gonna let the same things that took your friends out take you out because it's all the same. You know, it's bad decisions, you know what I'm saying? Bad timing, bad decisions, bad people. And it wasn't like, you know, you can make these decisions and just walk away. Like this stuff was gonna cost you one way or another. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna cost you. Yeah.
When you think about the transition from first starting out, even till now, I worked at MTV probably 05, 06. And I remember seeing you in the lobby. And it was probably 15 people with you.
Yeah, probably 100.
Probably 100.
Yeah.
And I just remember thinking like, what? Like, what's going on? But it was just you, and now, you know, it's 6 people, 1 security, publicist. So it's a huge change. You know, time has gone on. But what do you contribute, or what do you where do you pinpoint that change?
I think that it's more so not change. It's like a tree. It grows where it's soft at, not where it's hard. You know what I'm saying? It's just like over time, leaves fall off, branches fall off, but the tree continues to grow. And it's just the way life works. It's like, you know, the tree is going to grow. The seasons are going to change and limbs are going to fall because everybody can't make it through these seasons and they don't want to, you know what I mean? That's rightfully so, but I got to keep growing because I'm the tree, you know what I mean? So now when I come, it's only quality people and people who understand what the vision is, and my vision aligns with their purpose. So we're doing this in unison to make sure that we understand this is the goal. One of many, but it's the goal. And what I learned over time is like everybody don't have the same vision or goals. And if you allow them, you know, they'll sink the ship. You know what I'm saying? Or they'll chop down the tree, you know, just out of frustration of not understanding. And it's okay because maybe they need to go on a different path and do something else. But this is what I was born to do. You know what I'm saying? Anybody who aligns with me understands that. This is it. I couldn't bag groceries if I wanted to. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't know how, like, this is it. I can't play basketball. Like, it ain't that. Like, this is me. Like, when I wake up every morning, I'm comfortable in my skin because I understand that. And I also understand that, you know, you're not a leader if you don't experience pain. You know, that's part of leadership. You're gonna lose people. Like, I mean, some of them you lose forever. Like, you'll never see them again because they're gone. Yeah. So I had to come to grips with that. And then, you know, being a boss and a CEO, you have to pain of, like, sometimes you have to let people go and hire somebody else. And maybe that changes the trajectory of their life because they go on to do something great. You know what I'm saying? I've seen people that used to work with me that are doing amazing things now, and it's like, that's what you're supposed to be doing. I'm still going to applaud you because you're doing well and that's what you wanted to do, but it took our interaction for you to understand that this is what you shouldn't be doing because you're not aligned with this, and that's okay.
In terms of like just the legacy of TM101, like you looking at it as the artist of this huge movement, it's, you know, I feel like maybe with the exception of like a Kendrick right now and Drake at his points, it's hard to tell younger people like what a huge surge like a U or a 50 or I think with streaming and the lack of like a BET, like a 106 in Park, it kind of diminishes it. But, you know, for you looking back at that like monumental time, like what do you think about that album now?
I mean, it was more human interaction. It was real. Like, people saw you out in the street. People got Trap or Die out of my hands. You know what I'm saying? Like, people come out of the club and I put Trap or Die on their windshield. Or people saw me in Miami, like, mobbing around. Like, they could feel me, they could touch me, they could see me. They knew people that I knew. They knew people of people that I was around that knew people they knew. Like, the people I hung out with when I was in Harlem knew the people I hung out with when I was in Brooklyn. And people I hung out with in LA know the people I was hanging out with in San Diego. So it's like, it's a real thing. I think that, and it's tangible. I think that, you know, social media is great, but we have to wait to see if it sustains just that type of impact, because it seems to me that it's quick and you can reach out and touch people faster. But just imagine that. I pressed up hundreds of thousands of CDs and gave them away free to create a buzz. It don't get no better than that.
Yeah, I guess that's what I'm saying, the buzz. Yeah, like what's the impact now of that album, you think?
Oh yeah, but that's why it has it. That's why I can sit here in front of you 20 years later and people say this is a great project, it's a classic album, and I can see it's art. You know what I'm saying? So it's not just a body of work, it's art. It was if I had a brush and a clear canvas, I would have painted this. You know what I'm saying? So it's art, it gets better with time. With social media, I think that it's such an instant gratification that nobody's trying to paint anything that's gonna sustain the test of time. It's like, what can I paint right now? I don't gotta even think about that because I can reach out and touch you right now. Rightfully so. But the difference is, you know, boots on the ground, you know, shaking hands, kissing babies is always better than getting on the screen telling somebody, you know, who you are, because they don't know you. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like, you know, I've been walking around all day, and I mean, you know, you might pass through a lobby and there's a doorman. Yeah, bro, hey, keep it, yeah, because they feel like they know me. I feel like I know them. We can relate because we know that's how you're supposed to speak to each other too. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got to be all crazy about this. I see you. And I mean, and to even go further than that is just like when Barack gave me my shout out at the correspondence dinner.
In my first term, I sang Al Green. In my second term, I'm going with young Jeezy. Michelle said, yeah.
He didn't have to go overboard. He just knew what he had to do. He had to acknowledge me from a distance in his space to say, I see him. But that don't mean we gotta hang out. You know, my past is my past. I respect that. So that lets me know he got the same type of blood I got. He got ice in his veins. We see each other. But that's real because even if he did his research and just, you know, ask somebody, you know, what do you think about, they're gonna be like, nah, man, he one of us, you know, because I put in the work. And I've also shown over time that the integrity is still intact. I haven't did anything to you know, to tarnish or diminish my, I wouldn't even call it a brand, my legacy, because I'm true to it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it ain't about just, you know, the accolades that come to it. Like, strip everything away, I'll be the same person. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll get up and practice what I preach every day because that's who I am. And I think that means more than anything. And I think a lot of times when you see stuff on social media, you know, and everybody's like, I got a viral moment, but like, how many of those can you create over your career? You know what I'm saying? It's like, you're gonna have to do a bunch of antics to keep people engaged. And I just don't believe in that. I think that's that's a circus.
It's a new era.
Well, you know what's interesting is like, you know, my team let me know that we was #1 on TikTok with this Soul Survivor trend, and you know I've been a fan from a distance of TikTok, but it's not nothing that I want to engage in because I just didn't understand it. But to organically be a part of the community, I think that's real. That just shows me in time, you know, if you stay true to who you are, you know, it'll come back around. But even that is dope, you know what I'm saying? Because at least it brings the music back around, but the music that is solid. I had my daughter tell me the other day, it's like, you never heard this song. She was playing Candy Rain. I was like, that's so for real. What are you talking about? But she trying to turn me on to something new because she saw it on TikTok. But I'm like, this is like, we was roller skating to this. But that part I do love, you know what I'm saying? But and no disrespect to anybody that does it their way, but I'm just saying the way, I come from the school of hard knocks, you know what I'm saying? And it's just like, when you spend your hard-earned money, I mean, money that you basically took and penitentiary chances for your dream, like, you know, it's just a different type of energy you carry because what if it didn't work? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Now you got to double down on this life you was living to try to get back to where you were. So I just commend the people who took, you know, risks to achieve where they at. And that's probably why they're able to sustain it, because they respect it in a whole nother way. It's like earning something and someone giving you something. You know, if you ever earn something, you're a little reluctant to go out and just blow all your money. You know what I'm saying? But if somebody gives you something, you know, a lump sum or whatever, you know, you can already think of the 15 things you want to buy. Right. You know what I'm saying? Already in your head. I mean, the money already spent is what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah. The negative of social media, like how do you deal with that? Because you know, sometimes, just to be honest, if you're on the shade room, if it even gets to you, I don't even know if you're one of those people scrolling, but and they talk about your relationship or the court filings, or like how do you deal with that? Because you seem like somebody, like street people don't really get into that. I know you're not street anymore,
Right.
But how do you deal with the negative aspects of social media like that?
I just live my life, man. You know, joy, peace, and freedom, brother. Like I don't know these people, so I can't. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't even feel no type of way. It's like, that's on them. I got better things to do. You know what I'm saying? I got goals, dreams, aspirations, so I don't get caught up in it because I don't go for the good either now. That's the difference. Like I'm not reading the comments to see what somebody said about me good because none of it matters. You know what I'm saying? This is my business. I may post stuff to support whatever I'm doing, but I'm not like sitting on social media scrolling, trying to figure out that's not my world. Like I'd rather get out and see and touch people and talk to people. But I can guarantee you this, whatever is going on, my integrity is so intact that even when I see people, I don't get that from them. They, hey, how you doing, man? You good? Love, man. Good to see you, brother. It's just that because these are real people. These are not people sitting behind the keyboard. And I think that, you know, if I'm honest, just coming from a different era, I wish that the kids that, you know, that this hurts their self-esteem or they're competing with something they can never, I mean, you're competing with somebody's highlight reels, you know, and to see kids, you know, commit suicide about, you know, having to compare themselves to people, I don't like that part, you know what I mean? So that's the only thing negative to me is when it impacts somebody negatively. You know, you don't want to go tell a mother, you know, her child is no longer here because either they were bullied, you know, through social media or they kept comparing themselves to someone that they would never be, not knowing this is somebody's highlight reel. I mean, ain't nobody taking that many trips. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, and if they are, God bless them. You know what I'm saying? But it's just like, damn, how many jets you got, my man? You know what I'm saying? Like, this your 10th pilot this week. Like, what we doing?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, and I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying, like, it's not reality.
Yeah.
And that's the thing I had to learn about music. It's not reality. And that's the difference. For me, it's reality. Like, all this is together with me. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's all one. And that's the difference. You know what I'm saying?
The tour.
Yes.
Talk about the tour because
Tour.
I've seen it on social media.
Yeah.
That's going crazy.
I mean, that's,
People are
you know,
ready.
that's for that. This tour, man, I'm so excited about it, man. This is the 20-year anniversary of my debut album, which is Thug Motivation 101. For those of you in TV land that don't know, that's TM 101. My first debut album. It's my first baby. And 20 years is aged gracefully. It's aged in a way that the music still feels new, it still feels relevant, and it still feels real. And to celebrate that, and it's not just me celebrating, I want people to come out and celebrate their accomplishments. Like you just said, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know where you were 20 years ago when that came out, but you see where you at now. This is something to celebrate. You know what I'm saying? You're in a different place than you were 20 years ago, but you remember when this came out. So this is a celebration for us all. And I'm bringing the Color of Noise Symphony. So this is the first thing that's ever done in our culture with a symphony, taking them around the world to actually perform this tour with me. And I got Adam Blackstone producing it, you know how he does. D. Hodges actually wrote the music, he's the conductor. I have the Color of Noise Symphony coming along with me. I have DJ Ace, which is my DJ, and I have DJ Drama, so you know what that is.
Yeah.
And this is not and I do want to put this out there because I have a couple people asking me, so we sit down and, no, this is a party. This is a celebration. This is not the opera, nothing against the opera, but this is a celebration. This is a party. I just brought some friends along to help me celebrate this for us. And we're gonna celebrate this in this 20 years of this amazing piece of art. And we're gonna have a great time. And I know you guys are like, I gotta put on a suit. Absolutely. This is, you only put on suits for funerals and weddings. This is different. You can put this on because you wanna put this on and come celebrate. And also I'd like to add that this is another effort for me to actually open another door for the generation behind me, because I feel that they have to understand that it's okay to evolve and be that tree. And you might lose a couple branches, but you're still the tree. So don't feel like you have to be boxed into a lifestyle or put yourself in a position that is gonna cost you your freedom of your life to sell records or to be on tour, because I'm showing you, you know, by example that, and proof of concept that you can take something that's 20 years old and you can package it different for the people that's grown with you and they'll appreciate it. And that's what this tour is about. It's about evolution. It's about growing. It's about being that tree. You know what I'm saying? For sure.
Do you ever wonder if, and I'm not one of those people that thinks music or video games influences people negatively, but do you ever wonder if during that time maybe people took any of your lyrics too seriously and maybe did take penitentiary chances or might have end up in the penitentiary, not because of you, but maybe the how am I trying to say?
The influence,
The influence, yeah.
Well, look, you know, we all got kids. I look at it two ways. I look at it that, again, if you look at my bodies of work, there was always an underlying message. It was never ignorance. Like, there's nothing you can go back and just say that it was ignorant. Now, I might have talked about gold bottles a lot and things that I was really doing, but to me, it made sense at the time. There was always a message in the music. So if somebody like Michael Phelps can understand that and tell you that he won gold medals to it, or you get somebody like, you know who I'm going to see next, Carmelo Anthony, who loves what you do and he's been very successful. It's the way you take the art. I love Tupac. He was my therapist before I knew I needed a therapist, but I didn't go out and do all the things he said. I just took what was valuable enough for me to use it in my life and apply it, but everything else I couldn't use that I knew better because I was raised well by my grandmother, that, you know, I'm not going to do that. You know what I'm saying? And I just understood the things that he said that resonated with me, that I felt like, you know what, I could see that. But if it was something I felt like I didn't need to be doing because it didn't go with my faith, then I heard it, but I don't mean I need to go out and reenact it. So I would say it starts with the homes first, and then also it starts with how you feel as an individual. Like, you shouldn't let anybody just say anything that you go out here and do just because they said it, because people say anything. That's why it's like, you know, that's why they got two lips. You know what I'm saying? They just talk, you know what I'm saying? And it's just like, that's why you got two ears. You got to listen, you know what I'm saying, and dissect it, because, and that's in anybody in life. You just shouldn't believe anything that everybody says, anybody. You know what I'm saying? You gotta give them pushback. Why? Why is that? You know what I'm saying? What do you mean? Explain that to me. Stay curious, you know what I'm saying? Because that's what it's about. I love stuff, but I love music and I love artists, and I hope to God they ain't out here doing all the stuff they're saying. But I get it. You know, you have to talk about things that resonate with people that's closer to their reality. But that doesn't mean you should go out and reenact it, because I'm not doing that. And I know my children would never, because I'm telling them, you know what I'm saying? You know where that gets you, right? Right. You want to see, like, that's real. You know, jail cells are real. You know, funeral homes are real. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a real world out there. You know what I mean? So I would say let's let the artists be artists. Separate the art from the actual person, unless you're me, and raise your kids. You know, talk to them. You know, keep the lines of communication open so they can come to you and have that conversation and not listen to their favorite rapper.
Last question. Legacy of the Snowman shirts.
Yes.
What? Talk about that. I saw again because I
Yeah.
have to be on social media. I saw
Yeah.
something like it was a nostalgia page.
Yep.
It's like, y'all remember when we used to get kicked out of school for wearing the shirts?
Yeah. You know, listen, man. One thing I do know is it's Frosty and it's Jeezy. You know what I'm saying? So I know that. But Frosty ain't never got banned, so it's still up for debate. You know what I'm saying? So I can't confirm or deny who started that trend. Samuel Jackson told me something a long time ago, a great friend of mine. He just said the Snowman represents people that were demonized, and it was bigger than me. Because, you know, it's like Bruce Wayne, you know, he's only Bruce Wayne, but Batman is something different. And Snowman was that for me. It was this imagery of something that I was inspiring to be, and to know that they would suspend kids from school and keep them from wearing, you know, something that would represent that tells me that the message was loud and clear, that they got somebody to help, you know what I'm saying, on their side now, and it's not just what you say. It's like we got a hood hero, we got a neighborhood hero, we got a people's champ, and I think that's what the Snowman represents. But the fact that people still wear those shirts. I go, you know, I'm at my shows, I see them. I'm in People's City, I see them. I see kids with them on. It's just all love, man. It's just like, you know, I used to see people with the Wu-Tang shirts and be like, oh man, but like just Snowman's in there now. That's crazy. And for me, it's just like, I love it. That's a legacy. That means that you did something that was bigger than you. And I could be anywhere. And if I see somebody with those shirts, so I seen Drake with one on the other day, I was like, that's crazy, you know what I'm saying? But it just shows that it lives on, and I love it, man. And it was, you know, it started off as a chain, iced out pendant, you know, and you know where the money came from, you know what I'm saying? But
Got an idea.
Right. But it grew into something much bigger and much more positive, and I love that. Yeah.
Man, it's been great talking to you. I could talk to you all day, man. Is there anything you want to add? I know you do so many things, but
yeah. We talking about the tours coming through your city. It's one night, one man, one show, one mic, and a Color of Noise Orchestra, Adam Blackstone, D. Hodges. So make sure you grab your tickets now because they will be going fast. And yes, it is a black tie event. It's for the grown and sexy and the young and sexy. So y'all pull up. But I do want to shout out Lisk, which is my partner on my nonprofit space. They're amazing. We're actually focusing in on prostate cancer and then also helping the inner city youth. You know, with education, entrepreneurship, you name it, we there. And also like to shout out the Urban League of Atlanta, and we have the Young CEOs program. And we're getting you mentors. We're showing you how to build your business. We're showing you how to set up everything. We're showing you how to get your lawyers, the whole nine. So I'm very excited about that because I feel like you got to work in parallel. It's great to put out, you know, projects. It's great to do tours, but it's also great to help your people in the process because it's all the same.
So essentially, you've always helped the streets. Now you're just helping in a different way.
Right, that part. Thank you, brother. That was amazing.